Should be good to go.
Okay, it says that the meeting is being sent to Facebook and it looks like we're recording, so we should be ready to go for those that can't watch or can't be online with us right this minute and need to watch it later. So first off, let me welcome everyone. In case you don't know me, my name is Kim Bergey. I am the director for Raven. I'm based in the Wasilla office, but I'm in the Juneau office today. So if you've watched these meetings before, you'll notice the background looks a little different. Um, and there's a bunch of things on here that we go through every time, so I'll keep those parts short because we got some new things towards the end of the agenda that I'd like to spend a little bit more time on. So the purpose and the of the Parent Advisory Committee is for you guys to have opportunity to give feedback, for you guys to have opportunity to get information on new things that are coming. So again, if you have questions, excuse me, please go ahead and put them in the chat, or when we get towards the end, we'll open it up for some question and answers as well. Just a reminder that we like to give student recognition. In case you did not see the fall version of the Ravens call that just went out, we try to highlight things that are happening in the program. If we have parents that share great things that their students are doing, then we try to highlight those in there as well. It's a great opportunity for you to give that recognition beyond the home setting for the work that your students are doing. Additionally, there's local activities and things that are happening. So if you have not been reading the weekly SMORE that is coming from your office, I highly recommend it because that's how you are in the know as to what is happening. And it's how you sign up for a lot of the activities as well. We did that. And let's see. We have, for those of you that are connected to the Anchorage, the Eagle River, and the Wasilla office, just know we do have a new counselor coming on board that will be starting with us next week. So we will help him get grounded, and then he'll be reaching out to those families that have high school students to get connected and make sure that you have what you need. If you have a question and you need to talk to someone in the office, just know on the agenda here we have listed the administrative assistants and the local family liaisons. So you have their names and you just reach out to the office and then you can get to those individual people or your advisory teacher, whoever you might need help from. Parent involvement opportunities. If you're not a Facebook user, that's okay. Just know that we do have private Facebook groups for each one of the offices, and along with a Raven-wide one that we haven't been using a whole lot, but there's some things there that I'll talk about a little bit later that are going to change coming up. You're always welcome to participate in student activities and workshops and field trips and things with your children. And there's going to be some parent trainings and workshops coming that are focused around math. So be on the lookout for those. We have a grant that supports a bunch of our math activities, and I'll talk about that a little bit further down the road as well. And then we're always looking in here. I put that in the agenda. I put the actual link for the program improvement, where you can go in online and you can give suggestions, and it's up to you. You can be a totally anonymous, or you can put your name in there. It's your choice. We're always looking for your ideas in ways that we can continue to grow and develop the program to better serve you. And as part of that, we will be sending out some surveys here later, middle of winter timeframe, January, February, and then some more towards the spring. So we look forward to getting those results. Do know that we read every single response that we get, and then we use that for our strategic planning for programmatic changes. So that is super helpful to us. We also have opportunities for community partnerships, and those vary by office depending on what each office is doing. As far as fundraising and stuff, just know that we participate in the Fred Meyer Community Rewards Program, our Scholastic and Skytree book fairs. Those are ways that help us to add to our student activities funds that we use to provide activities and things for the children. Additionally, there are parent-teacher cards so that you as parents can get teacher discounts at, there's a variety of places, Michael's, Joann's, Barnes and Noble, there's a whole bunch of them. So if you did not get one of those as part of your ILP meeting and completing your enrollment, please reach out to your local office. They can get them for you. The same applies if you have a student that needs an ID card for any reason. Sometimes those students need ID cards in order to get the student passes and things for some of the skiing areas and for bus tokens and things like that. So if you need those, we need a picture from, you know, shoulders up, and we get them to your local office admin. They'll get them to Holly, and then Holly will process them and send them to you in the mail. There's a little bit of a time differential there, so plan ahead for that because it takes a little bit for Holly to get them done, for them to get back to you in the mail. For student recognition, we talked a little bit about Raven's Call. The other thing is that our school board likes to recognize students. So again, if you have a student that's doing something and you would like them to be officially recognized for it, please make sure and submit that to your local office admin, and they'll make sure that it gets submitted to the school board when they do their next round of recognition. For those of you with seniors or a student that's graduating this year, we have the Raven Scholarship. We typically give out 6 scholarships. And so oftentimes in the past that has not been released until late. We're releasing it earlier this year than we did even last year. So please be on the lookout for that. There is a written piece that has to be submitted. And we want students to have plenty of time to get that writing done so that they can get that application submitted. And again, our local offices, they love to have student artwork and student projects. And if you have a student that needs to give a speech, we love to be the audience. So feel free to use us in that way. We're here to help and support you. For those of you that have little ones in grades K through, excuse me, K through 3, underneath the student achievement block in the agenda, I put all of the early reading resources that the state has been publishing. So you have a direct link to those. Some of them are really, really helpful, and they're written from that parent perspective. So it's easy for parents to be able to take them and use them. Additionally, under here, you have the Alaska Performance Scholarship. The legislature last year made a whole bunch of changes to the Alaska Performance Scholarship. So these links in here are new links to the brand new information, because the Alaska Commission on Post-Secondary Education, or ACPE, as you sometimes hear it referred to, they've gotten everything finally updated on their website. So it's really a great place to go and to have your senior go explore what their options are there, because they upped the dollar amounts, they did away with the testing requirements, and they now have more opportunity for those students that are focused on being career ready, going into the different trades or career and technical education. So there's some great new pieces there. Take time to go look at that. It's really important for those parents to know that if you have a senior and they're wanting to access that Alaska Performance Scholarship, they do require, I'll say that again, they do require that they fill out the FAFSA, the federal application. I can never remember what all those letters stand for. But it's the federal application for student aid. And so if you haven't done that with your senior, the window, I believe, is open, or it's just going to be coming open here next month. And so it's really important to gather up the pieces you need and then go in and fill that out. And if you need help with that, because sometimes it's really, really confusing, just know that ACPE has staff, and they have some classes that you can attend where they walk you through the process. Yeah, the parent guide that ACPE has for the high school planning is really good as well. So if you have a high school student and want to look at that early, or even if you have an 8th grader and you want them to look at it early, that's a great place to start. Student assessment. Um, there's so much to say about assessment. Um, so what I tried to do here is to consolidate as much information in a little tiny spot as I could for you. And know that we have already finished the Alaska Developmental Profile. That's looking at those kindergartners and what skills they've gained as to date based on their age. And then we had the fall administration of the MAP assessment, and the MAP assessment, and that's called Measures of Academic Progress. That has a winter window, and then it has the spring AK Star window that has to be done in person at the office. So the winter window is from January 6th to the 17th, and it can be done in the home setting. And the beauty of that is the reporting that you get from it is super helpful because it tells you what your child has mastered, what they should be working on next. It's really, really helpful for you as parents to pinpoint where you might need to focus. It also highlights your children's strengths and what they're really good at. So kids always like to hear that, and it's a great piece to share with them. Additionally, with the Alaska Reads Act that was passed not last year, but the year before, we offer the you'll hear us refer to it as either M-Class or Dibbles or Amplify because it's the company and the materials and all of that they use for it. So, but if you have a little one that you're struggling to figure out what they need for reading, or where their gaps are, just know that the Dibbles is super helpful for that. And again, there's 3 administration windows. You have a beginning of the year, a middle of the year, and an end of the year. And those windows mirror those MAP windows. So the middle of year windows for Dibbles is again that January 6th through 17th. And there's no cost for it, and it can be completed either at home or in person at the office. It really is up to the parent as to what method works best for them. We have, through the grants that we have, some free resources for students that need a little extra support, and for some that are just into a little healthy competition. So if you have students that are struggling with reading at those lower grade levels, just know that Lexia is fantastic for helping with that. If you have students that are struggling in math or reading or any of the content areas, IXL works very well for that. If you have students that are struggling in math, Moby Max has both math and language arts. The math piece is really good in the Moby Max. If you have kids that are energized and want to earn a lot of points with reading and some prizes, check out Accelerated Reader. There are a ton of books that you can read on there to gain points, and the best way to get to be a good reader is to read no matter what you choose to read. So, and then new this year, we were just able to secure a bunch of seats for Typing Pal. Typing Pal is free. It helps kids learn to type. It's fun. And all of our students, when they do testing starting at grade 3, all have to know how to use the keyboard and be able to type to enter their answers in. So we're doing that so that they can get a little bit more practice. So if you're interested in any of those, let your advisory teacher know. They can help you get connected and set up. And if you have questions once you do get set up, again, just reach out to your teacher. They're happy to help you with that. The next section on our agenda talks about strategic planning goals. And the strategic planning goals for this year have changed a little bit. And so I wanted to talk about these just so everybody is aware and familiar with how they've changed. So we have read by 3rd grade, And our goal, not to say that it's going to happen, but our goal is so that every student is reading on grade level by the end of third grade. We know that some students take longer, some students don't need as much time, but that's what we've set as a target goal. So that's why we have more resources that are focused on reading, especially at that lower elementary level, because we're wanting to make sure that as parents, you have the support and materials that you need so that you can help your child to be a good reader. The second one on here is mathematics mastery. Again, it's that focus on what are those core skills. We want kids to have great foundational skill mastery by the end of sixth grade. The reason for that is once you go beyond sixth grade, everything builds on what you have already learned. So in order for them to do that pre-algebra and algebra, they have to have mastered those foundational skills by that sixth grade level. So that's part of the reason for our focus on math. We have what we call the Maxis grant. It's math and computer science. And so we have 2 more camps. Anchorage and Eagle River, I believe, are the next 2 that are going to get those math and computer science camps. So please be on the lookout for that. They had a ton of fun with them last year. And I'm sure that they're planning great activities for this year. Additionally, it's important to know that we have 2 math specialists that are serving Raven, and they will be offering some limited tutoring time along with some site-based activities and some virtual activities, not only for students, but it's my understanding based on the last conversation that we had that there's also going to be some activities for parents to help parents providing that math instruction. So keep your eyes open for those things as well. The next one on here is graduate ready. We want every student to graduate ready for whatever that next step is, but there's a big focus on career and technical education. And the reason there's the focus on career and technical education is that the data and the research is showing that if you can have your student take 2 career and technical ed classes that are in the same field of study, that they have a much higher chance of graduating not only from high school, but if they later go on and choose to do college level coursework, they have a greater level of completion there as well. So we're trying to make sure that we're incorporating that into what we're doing. Sometimes we have a struggle with the availability of what students want for career and technical education. So we've been developing and working on partnerships with some other organizations in our communities to make sure that we have a sufficient number of seats available for students to be able to participate in those activities. The last one, some people get confused when they see this last one. It's called cultural infusion. And the whole idea is that every student is culturally aware and that there's an emphasis on culturally relevant teaching. What that looks like in homeschool is very, very different than what it looks like in a brick and mortar school. So that really is about connecting your own child with the culture in which you have grown up, in which you want your children to grow up, where your heritage comes from, and just having them be very aware of that and making sure that things are relevant when you're providing instruction along the way. How does that tie together with your culture as a family and your family heritage? For some of you, it's very heavy on learning language. For others, it's about traditions. It can be both, and it can be more than both of those together. So it's really what you as parents choose to do. Enrollment. I always try to give an enrollment update at the October one so that everybody understands the scope and size of where we're at. Right now, our enrollment is over 3,700 students. So I want to give a word of invitation for you as parents to submit your reimbursements more regularly and submit them ahead of those big deadlines, because we only have so many people in our business office to do the processing of those. So if we can spread them out and even out the volume of them, then it makes it so you don't have to wait as long to get your reimbursement. So we're trying to be real intentional about encouraging families to turn those reimbursements in regularly and don't hold them till the deadline, because we know that when we hold them all till the deadline, there's a ton of them that have to be processed, and it just takes a lot longer for us to get them all processed. Some new things that are coming. This, I did not put this all on the agenda, but we have some new things that are coming. For those of you that have been on the website, you'll notice it changed as far as the look of it went, but the content didn't change. So we have some upgrades that are going to be coming to the website that are going to change the content. So just know that we're working on that. We sent out a couple of different surveys to families and we got some great feedback. So for those of you that shared your feedback, thank you, thank you. And if you're on the website and you have feedback that you want to share, just know you can share that feedback on that program and quality services link that I put in the agenda, because even when we're working on that, we're going to be asking for input. When we get it finished, we'll ask for some more input to see if we've hit all the marks that you guys have set for us. Additionally, we had conversation this morning as staff, and we'll continue to have conversation, but we also want our parents to know that we have a new student information system that we're going to be transitioning to in January. And we're doing it ahead of the re-enrollment time so that we have a little bit of overlap between the two systems. So just know you're going to see some changes coming in that arena, and we are going to be looking forward to having things set up in a way that you have a little bit more access to information right at your fingertips. And then we'll also have it so that when you sign in there, you have access to all the things that you need in one location. With that, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to open it up for any questions that you have, and I will do my best to answer them. I don't see any questions in the chat, so if you don't want to turn your mic on and talk, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll watch the chat as well. All right, I don't see any questions. If you have a question and you're just too bashful to ask in the group, please know you can send it to your advisory teacher or your local office admin and just ask them to send it on to me and we'll get you an answer to whatever questions that you have. If you're watching this on Facebook and you have questions, the same thing applies. You can't put it in the chat when you're on Facebook, but you can send it to your advisory teacher or your local office admin and they'll get it to me and we'll get you an answer. And I just want to thank everybody that took time today to join us online. And for those of you that are watching after the fact, thank you for taking time to watch and keep up with the new things that are coming your way. And Holly, you're welcome to stop the recording and the broadcast.